In the Know for Wednesday, April 13, the 103rd day of 2022. There are 262 days left in the year. Good morning, MD, guiding you through In the Know at K105 on Litchfield's Country Station 1039 The Moose, live online at K105.com via the Apple and Android smartphone app using the SoundCloud, iTunes, or Spotify podcast. On Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitter, and the hashtag is In the Know. Coming up today, we'll update you on the latest news headlines from around the community, the county, the Commonwealth, and the country. Get ready for a soggy day. Going to be rain around us pretty much the whole time. And then just moving a day closer to the Easter holiday weekend. That and a whole lot more coming up today here on In the Know. Settling into my left, rolling Mach 9 with her hair on fire, is my beautiful wife, the beautiful girl. It's Beach. Good morning, sweetheart.
Good morning.
How you doing?
I'm okay. A little chilly.
Yeah, I know you got your jacket on today.
Yeah.
One of those in-between days.
Yes.
A couple of things before we move on. First, I would like to say Happy Oops Day to you.
Oh, happy Oops Day.
So for those of you that probably don't know what Oops Day is, Christy and I were accidentally introduced to one another. We met 13 years ago today.
Wow.
Yeah?
Look at us.
That's been a long time. 13 years ago. So that's Happy Oops Day to you. And then you are of the two of us, you like board games more than I do.
Probably, yes.
Do you have a favorite board game?
Clue.
Clue is your favorite board game?
Probably, yes.
So if you spend 20 minutes a day playing board games or card games, alone or with friends, I know you play a fair amount of solitaire.
I do.
Helps you feel as sharp as someone 12 years younger.
Wow.
Would you believe that? Just so playing solitaire and board games, making you feel a dozen years younger.
I like it.
Almost the age of when we met.
There you go.
He is the 5-time winner of the coveted Ohio News Hawk Award. He's the 2-time Silver Sound nominee, covering every corner of the globe: London, Budapest, Rio de Janeiro, Tokyo, and Spring Lick. He's Sam Gormley and the Sparks. Morning, Sam.
Morning, Ralph.
How you doing?
Good. How are you?
We're doing well. I threw in a lick in there because we went through all the creeks yesterday. We got into some of the branches. I heard from some people yesterday that really appreciated my breakdown of the difference between boroughs of Caneyville and suburbs of Caneyville. So,
I was taking notes.
did you find it enlightening?
It was, yeah. No,
Yeah.
next time I go, do you have a statue in Macedonia?
No, not yet. I think there's a GoFundMe account they've just started,
It's
and
got $3?
the balance is $3.12.
Okay.
But
how much of that did you donate?
They're going to have $3. They're going to have a fall festival or something coming up this year, and they'll raise money for the erection of the statue. But no, I mean, there are current other officials and residents of Macedonia much more deserving than myself. But I will tell you, I'll save it for another day. I did spend some time establishing additional geographic boroughs of Caneyville. You know, I told you Pumpkin Center was a borough, and then I've spent quite a bit of time yesterday mapping out what I would deem the other boroughs of the large thriving metropolis
school get its
of Caneyville.
own borough?
Well, it's in a borough that includes some. I've got it included in there. Again, I just didn't want to get too far into it today. We'll save that for another day. Perhaps when the Pride of Pumpkin Center is here on Friday, we may get into that, because she might. I mean,
she could disagree.
She might say, "No, I think you're gerrymandering some of the boroughs here, and we need to redefine the lines." And I'm open to that.
So is Dennis then like the mediator?
He's something. Sam, since the time you've been on the show more, I don't think we've ever gotten a clear answer, or it's not been clearly defined, not because you've been dodgy about the issue, but I don't think I've had the chance to ask you, are you a peep person? Are you peeps? Are you team peeps? Or are you team no peeps?
I mean, if you told me I never had to have it again, I'd be okay with that, but I'm not like anti-peep by any means.
Okay.
I mean, at Easter, I may have one or two.
If they were just contained to Easter, I'd be fine.
I don't eat sweets, though, very
Right.
often at all.
Well, I mean, I guess this is a sweet. It's a sugar-colored marshmallow.
It's sugar-coated sugar, so I would definitely classify it as a...
Made in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, or if you're from Nelson County, you call it Bethlehem.
Mm-hmm. I had to learn that.
Is it 5.5 million peeps a day?
That is crazy.
5.5 million.
It's definitely an Easter tradition.
That must be an average, because if they're making, I mean, if they're why would they make 5.5 million peeps on May the 10th?
I know that I referred to my cousins from South Africa. I know that they're in the States now more long term, but whenever they would come, that would be one of their things. They would have like a list of things that they'd always have to get when they came here, and peeps were one of them because they couldn't get them in South Africa. They loved them.
So
my mom would have to, when they do the Easter closeouts at stores, would go and just buy it out for them.
Yeah.
That's funny. Were you the one that left the dots on my desk?
No.
Really?
No. I may have
facilitated that?
Correct. Said person may have.
You may have planted a seed.
Well, whoever left the dots, thank you. I love dots.
Before we move on, do you have any cousins in Europe that are visiting anytime soon?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
I know I have one. I guess she's classified as a cousin, but.
All right. Well, you might also be able to get these at Cracker Barrel, but anybody coming from Europe, I'd like some more Toblerone.
Oh, you can.
You can buy those anyway.
You can?
I saw them yesterday a
It's
couple
not.
times.
I don't know. The European kind is extra good. Mom and Dad brought us
my
some
cousin,
from.
I think one of my cousins is in Europe right now. Maybe I can put him up to it.
Okay, maybe. Hey, rain and thunder moving in throughout the morning, and then a marginal slight risk of severe weather. I haven't seen them. I glanced at the map, but Grayson County itself is not in the most predominantly portion of where they say the risk could be higher. It's off to the west. It's Paducah, Madisonville, Owensboro, but you get outside of that area,
The spot that doesn't need
the chances of severe weather get even less significant. But here's I do want to give you a little bit of the difference. It's primarily an afternoon and evening issue. We could see some winds this afternoon, but the chances of tornado outbreaks very, very slim. But here's the reason that I was spending a little extra time on it. I have observed that people, especially in the Warren County area, they are carrying a decent level of PTSD over weather, considering their two instances that they had in December, and rightly so. You live through those two events, and then when they start saying, well, there's the potential for, you start having flashbacks, and you recall to what my experience was like. And so I would just offer that those in the region around us, people that we know and love, our family and friends, that when you talk to them today, you're probably going to gain an increased sense of anxiety from them just because of what their last 6 months has been like. But I just don't think that here's the difference. This evening, there's not any chance of these supercells forming in Arkansas and then spinning up for 175 miles and wiping through western Kentucky. That's not what it's shaping up to be. This is your average thunderstorm that's going to come through with potentially straight line winds this evening and just be here and gone. So those two things it's not an apples and apples comparison. I just want to prepare you for what to kind of expect. This is your old-fashioned, hey, we may get a thunderstorm this evening and the wind may blow a little bit, but it's not going to be. It's
always better be safe than sorry, though, in a lot of ways.
It is. And I will tell you, I'm well on the record for I don't panic about weather. I respect weather, and I think knowledge is good. But you have to be well equipped to do with the knowledge to make practical decisions and not be irrational, because if you just are completely guided by fear, then you end up in a place where it's just not good for you to be. So anyway, we'll continue to keep, an eye and an ear, and you got the emergency alert system. We have our friends at Wave storm tracking team, keeping our forecast updated throughout the day today. So, and I will tell you, just make sure you got a way to get alerts, especially in the dark hours, and just think ahead, but don't overthink.
Misty had shared the really good app. The Red Cross has a really good app that you can even set it up to where if you have a family member, maybe your parents don't live in Grayson County, but they live somewhere else like mine do, you can set it up to where if there's a tornado warning in their area, you'll get alerted for that as well.
It allows like a however many mile radius, I think, that you can set up.
them.
Exactly. It's a really, really good free app.
Hey, so some of the national headlines, obviously, almost this time yesterday, we've kind of been at least passively observing that mass shooting in the Brooklyn subway. They have identified a 62-year-old Frank James. He had rented some type of van and let off some explosives, had handguns with extended magazines, He fired 33 rounds. I can't believe no one has perished. He fired 33 rounds in the subway on a busy subway platform, and so far, no one has died, which is quite remarkable.
Yes.
But yet, again, another mentally disturbed person walking around us trying to inflict harm on his fellow citizens. Also, you knew when the presidential administration started 2 days ago really selling the who's to blame for inflation, you knew it was going to be bad, and it is. U.S. inflation jumped 8.5% in the past year, the highest since President Reagan was in his first term. So that's a long time ago. Only you were barely alive when Reagan was in his first term. You weren't alive, and I was about 10 when that happened in 1981.
It wasn't even a twinkle in the eye.
But 8.5% is sharp. But if you dive a little bit deeper on it, when you look at gasoline being nearly 50% higher, so what was $2 is now $3. What was, you can just do the math on that. 50% is what's driving a lot of that, but it's still making used cars and trucks super expensive. Hotels are higher, airlines higher, because what do they use? Well, they use fossil fuels to power them. So I did see Thomas Massey making a pretty good argument. Congress doesn't want you to know this as much, but at least he does. You can draw a box around when those stimulus payments happened from the pandemic, and even not all of them were necessary, and not everybody that got dollars needed them. And it's caused some of our problem because it's flooded the market. But the Biden administration wants to blame it on Putin and Putin's war. But you can draw a box over inflation that goes back to the stimulus payments to right now. And so it's the Putin theory is a more recent one, and it may be putting an exclamation point on the end of it, but we were heading for bad inflation as a result of some of that ARPA stuff anyway. And there will have to be a big adjustment. The Grayson County Sheriff's Office, deputies have collared a fugitive wanted for basically busting out of his parole. 36-year-old Jeffrey David Grimm was reported to be, or showed up at a residence on Hardin Road on Monday night asking for gasoline, and then dispatch received another report that he was in a vehicle at another residence in that neighborhood. They found a Ford Fiesta that he had been driving, they being Sheriff's Office deputies. They made contact with him. He gave them 2 false names. They also figured out that the license plate on that car came back to a Chevy Avalanche. So he's been on parole for a long time and is scheduled to be on parole until March of 2023, currently lodged in the Grayson County Detention Center. If I were a betting person, I'd say his parole is going to go longer than March of 2023.
Saying he had a grim night?
When this is, I think it was a grim situation. Governor Beshear visited KSP headquarters in Frankfort yesterday, where he signed 2 bills that include pay raises and other benefits to KSP employees. A pay raise for troopers and commercial vehicle enforcement officers was contained in the state budget he signed on Monday. He said all troopers are going to get a $15,000 annual raise. That means our starting pay for sworn officers is increasing from $40,000 to $55,000. They are hoping, the KSP Commissioner Philip Burnett, he says that they are hoping that in 5 years this gets them back to their 2006 levels of staffing, which was about 1,000 people, and they are significant. They are hundreds under that currently. And these numbers will help them shore that up. But they see it's going to take 5 years in order for them to fix that. And as we have marveled in a bad way, the 74th highest paying law enforcement agency in the state is the Kentucky State Police. It's just hard to fathom. Mm-hmm. I even mentioned it, yesterday I was in conversation. How is it that what you would expect would be your premier law enforcement agency? I mean, when you think of law enforcement in Kentucky, isn't there this overarching,
yes,
what's the Kentucky State Police? Mm-hmm. So you would think, well,
I mean, who's first? Do they count the FBI? Like the field office in
No,
Louisville?
but there are some smaller ones, even like Shepherdsville is one, Lexington, Fayette, Metro, LMPD is one. But you'd be surprised what towns like Glasgow, Owensboro, and some of these others are doing, maybe even Bowling Green. But then you've got a lot of sheriff's departments that aren't properly funded, and they're trying to find two nickels to rub together to keep, deputies on the street. So there's a huge disparity across the law enforcement landscape on what peace officers are making. And I don't know if it's an indication of financial condition of the communities in which they are trying to serve. It probably is, but my guess is if you have more robust economy, you probably have more robust law enforcement, you probably pay higher wages.
It's been a few years, but Sheriff Chaffins did a presentation at a fiscal court meeting where he kind of went through and did the population, and Matt said, like, this county is a similar population to Grayson County, and this is what they pay their deputies, and it was a really interesting study that he had done.
And then, by the way, to turn that coin over, when I said more robust economies and larger communities, then you would also be surprised where some of your smallest law enforcement agencies serving some of the smallest communities have to pay higher wages to just retain people because they think, well, I can't really survive in this small town on small town wages, so I've always got to be eyeing to go to work for E-Town or go to work for whatever. And so small towns go, if we want to keep our cruisers filled, if we want to keep our streets patrolled, we're going to have to pay higher than maybe what our per capita would be in order to do it. The Abraham Lincoln Birthplace National Historical Park is hosting a remembrance event that commemorates the death of the former president. The event will be tomorrow with a speech from Leighton Carr, who's a guest park ranger from Ford's Theater, who will recall Lincoln's assassination and its impact on the nation. Lincoln was shot April 14, 1865, while watching a production of Our American Cousin, and died the next morning. That anniversary will be tomorrow. I don't know if they always have an event like that at the birthplace, but
that would be interesting. I know I've driven past Ford's Theater in Washington, D.C., but I've never been inside.
Yes, it's I've never been inside either. Jacob Toppin has decided to test the waters. The Kentucky junior forward has declared for the NBA draft, but leaving options open for a possible return to Kentucky next season. This has been par for the course in the Calipari era. Is players get to explore one time.
Why wouldn't you?
Yeah, you absolutely would. It's good training, but for whatever reason, because of the struggles the last couple of years, the Big Blue Nation is ultra sensitive to this idea of kids declaring for the draft.
Need to calm down. And in all seriousness, that's kind of what I say to them. It's like, come on.
You're not really doing anyone any good by overreacting.
If anything, you're going to make Jacob Toppin not want to come back.
Yes, that's possible. And then, do I mention it, Sam? The Reds and...
No, it's a good game for 8 innings.
Reds lost their home opener yesterday in Cincinnati. What was it, the final?
10-5.
10-5.
But it was 4-4 going into the ninth, and then the bullpen.
But you're okay.
Rough.
You're all right.
Yeah. I mean, there were some comments made by ownership that have kind of really riled up the fan base, but
okay. By the way,
happens.
I'm going to ask you about the Braves-Nationals game later on in the show. This is a piece of video I saw that I'm going to ask you if you've seen. It's pretty interesting. We got to get to a break. We'll come back. Got plenty more on the way here on In the Know.
When you're feeling under the weather or concerned about your family's health, you want the support of a trusted medical provider who lives close by and is available to care for you and your family. Dr. Gregory Koo is a family medicine physician who is putting down roots in this community. With 22 years' experience, he's now accepting new patients in both Caneyville and at Owensboro Health Twin Lakes Medical Center in Litchfield. Learn more online at owensborohealth.org/KOO.
At KU, we're empowering Kentucky's future every day through sustainability efforts that energize our economy and help our light shine brighter than ever. From committing to net zero carbon emissions by 2050 to offering customers programs that support 100% renewable energy to installing more charging stations for electric vehicle drivers. See more ways we're empowering sustainability at lge-ku.com/sustainability.
Homeowners, especially on the lake, have most likely experienced or will experience water erosion on their properties. There is a solution and preventative measures that can protect against this type of erosion. With the help of products and service from Scotty's Contracting and Stone, crushed rock road enhancements can provide erosion control and shoreline protection. Well-designed and maintained erosion control helps ensure that today's beautiful and safe landscapes remain so tomorrow. To discuss erosion control and shoreline restoration solutions with Scotty's Contracting, call 270-259-5696.
Your choice of lifestyle directly affects your health. And while there are many complex factors surrounding your lifestyle, sometimes the simple truth is that you just need to feel better. Well, rest assured, your feel better starts right here at Midway Pharmacy. We take our time to get to know you and your lifestyle so we can provide sound advice on ways to improve your overall health. So whether your goal is to maintain a healthy lifestyle or overcome that untimely sickness, remember, your feel better starts here at Midway Pharmacy.
While we may disagree a lot, we do agree Rural King's our favorite place for spring planting.
Yeah, but we've got to focus. Roses, a couple flats of impatiens, and a spade.
A shovel? I'm thinking tiller.
Oh, we do not need a tiller.
Wait, a mower. Those no zero turns are sweet.
Focus. Roses, mulch, shovel, impatiens.
Jeez, talk about impatient.
Can I help you?
Yeah, chainsaws.
Let's go.
I'm almost done mowing this section.
Ridiculous.
iPhone users the option of installing apps from the internet. Cook cited reports of malicious apps on Android as an example. Apple currently does not allow iPhone users to download apps from the internet, a practice called sideloading. Elon Musk being slapped with a lawsuit after becoming Twitter's largest single shareholder. Twitter investor Mark Vasella is suing the Tesla CEO, claiming he failed to notify financial regulators about his purchase in the required time. And a Russian cyber attack targeting Ukraine's power grid has been thwarted. That's according to the Computer Emergency Response Team of Ukraine. It said Russian hackers attempted to install malware on computers at power substations that supply around 2 million residents. They were able to subdue the threat before it spread. Tech Report, Mark Mayfield, NBC News Radio. Today is Scrabble Day. We talked about board games at the beginning of the show. Scrabble Day today, honoring one of the world's most popular games on the anniversary of its 1899 birth of its inventor, Alfred Butts. Alfred Butts is the inventor of Scrabble. He was a jobless architect who came up with the idea during the Great Depression of the 1930s. A couple of odd facts. Among the proposed names for early versions were Lexicon, Scrabble,
sense.
word
Makes
game.
sense.
Got it.
Makes sense.
Also, crisscross words also makes sense, but I'm okay with Scrabble.
I like it.
Crisscross words doesn't roll off the tongue.
It does not, but I would also say that I have only learned in the last few years that there's a food item called Scrapple.
Yes,
Right,
West Virginia.
We looked that up, and so now
like
I'm
Ghetto.
kind of confused. Now Scrabble sounds too much like Scrapple, but I was fine with Scrabble when I didn't know Scrapple existed, and now I'm thinking like Scrapple sounds like Crapple. So
Scrapple is like Geta, and I've had Geta many times, and it's very good.
the game was just a fad with Butts' friends until a Macy's executive saw it being played at a resort in 1952, and the then world's largest department store soon began carrying it.
It's kind of funny. It just shows how different department stores are now. That Macy's is the one that made Scrabble become big.
Yep. It is National Peach Cobbler Day. I'll let you all celebrate.
I'm a fan.
I like peach.
I like peach.
I love peach anything. He doesn't care for cobblers.
Don't
Yeah, I
like
know.
Cobbler.
Well, I think you and Yukon Cornelius, I think, are in that same boat. I think he's also anti-cobbler.
I hate to be picky like him.
Yeah, he is quite picky.
I don't
I've
want a
learned.
reputation for being picky.
Well, I think he classified a cobbler as as a dessert casserole, didn't he?
Well, that might have been. Well, yeah, he doesn't like casseroles. I like casseroles. Well,
That's a good thing.
Like some casseroles. You can't be married to a Baptist. And
No,
not like
you
casseroles.
Which is interesting of Dennis's profession, too.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. This just goes back. Did I mention the picky part? The International Plant Appreciation Day today. So you're asked to consider giving live potted plants as a gift rather than cut flowers. You might also grow your own fruits or vegetables to give away or share seeds, plants, or clippings from your garden. Bottom line, on this day, show yourself and others how important plants are.
So we're going to start for giveaways for the water cooler question when it returns. Is it going to be like a basket of apples and oranges?
We have basically a botanical garden at our house.
Yes.
We could.
Well,
It's not even at the house; it's here too.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I gave plants this past Sunday. I will probably give a plant or two on this coming Sunday. I mean, so.
Yep. I mean, there's always clip a piece off of that and get you a start and all that other stuff, and it's by the way, it's not just her; it runs throughout the entire family. Like Uncle Joe, we got rose bushes that you all need to, when we got married, we got them, and you all need to plant them, and so it's like all the plants can mean all kinds of different things. Here are 5. She just mentioned Easter coming up on Sunday. So probably a lot of egg hunts on Saturday and other events. Got the crosswalk on Friday. Our Good Friday show is on Friday. But if you've not done your Easter shopping yet, here are 5 frugal tips for Easter on a budget. First is go bulk on candy and foods.
Good luck.
Okay. Number 2 says don't go overboard.
Does that not?
No, I mean, if
negate
you're
the first one?
doing it on a budget, isn't that kind of?
Yeah, that should be understood.
I was going to say, I mean, if you're doing it on a budget, don't go overboard.
Don't go to the typical Easter basket route and pack with tons of sweets and things that kids don't need. Here's one of the things I've observed about the Easter Bunny and Alea. The Easter Bunny has a tendency to paint kids with a broad brush. Mm-hmm. And so while the Easter Bunny is a big advocate of Cadbury eggs and Reese's peanut butter cups and things of that nature, your Whoppers and your other traditional Easter candies, for some reason the Easter Bunny has a tendency to load Alea up with those things, and she doesn't like those things very much.
But I think the Easter Bunny is catching on.
The Easter Bunny is evolving?
Yeah, because what happens is she will not eat them, and they go into the community candy basket where the rest of the family really doesn't need to be into.
But is that confirming the Easter Bunny's moves, though? If they're going to end up in the community basket anyway.
So she doesn't like Reese cups?
Not so much. She's just not a big candy, chocolate, peanut butter.
I don't eat a lot of candy either, so.
Yeah, no, I don't either. But she loves like the little coins that Santa puts in her stocking. Big fan of those, and those are pure chocolate. She will eat those. But
well, those are good because they're small.
Yeah,
it's like a Hershey Kiss.
She
or
does
because
like
she thinks they're like money.
Yes, it's true. She likes to get
She needs to come update my my bank statement down here.
Your finances.
She likes to take the little wrapper off.
Sorry,
of it.
your accounts.
Correct.
Those are your accounts hanging.
I've still got it hanging on the wall.
Host a potluck meal. Easter brunch, lunch, and dinner can get a big deal, and they can get expensive. So host a potluck with your family.
Sounds like a lot of casseroles.
I asked my mother the other day. I asked for her to delegate something to me for Easter dinner on Sunday, and she basically passed on that. I don't know if that's an indictment on my cooking abilities or if she just doesn't want us to bother. I doubt it's my cooking abilities. I'm pretty solid. As far as your Easter dress or your Easter bonnet or your Easter suit or your Easter hat, reuse something in your closet. I will promise you there's something in your closet that the rest of us haven't seen in long enough that we forgot you had it.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Hard to follow that advice, but seems to be pretty sound advice.
I'm following it this year.
And then the last one is, and you're ahead of the game, shop the discount stores.
Yes.
I believe that you cleaned up at the discount store yesterday.
I did.
You not?
I'm pretty excited. I'd never been there. It was just
you found a new discount store
yes,
yesterday.
I was like a kid at a candy store. I was in there for a really long time.
Be prepared if you haven't noticed, and it's probably going to get worse. A new survey says the pandemic is pushing more city dwellers to move to the country.
Yes.
So if you thought, why is it more crowded out here in our little neck of the woods where we used to have more peace and quiet. It's because people are fleeing. And especially, it's a perfect example. During the lockdowns of the pandemic, where people were isolated from going out, couldn't go to restaurants, couldn't go to movies, couldn't go to the people in Jefferson County that knew anyone with lake property, they were here. When Jefferson County schools are closed, Jefferson and Oldham countyans are in Grayson and Hart counties and Grayson and Breckenridge counties. And people from Davis County come to Grayson County for in Breckenridge County. And so that trend is going to continue. Not only are they moving out of cities, but they're moving south. They're moving out of the Northeast. They're moving out of the extreme West, and they are going to settle. There are some, I run into people probably once every couple of months. I learn of someone that said, well, they moved here from, name it, Dallas, moved here from Chicago, moved here from whatever, and said, we just wanted to get away from so eventually, then it starts getting a little tighter quarters around here. Drives land prices up, drives home values up, but it does change the character. And by the way, I've been on the record for a long time saying I love carpetbaggers. I love people that come outside the community and choose this to be their home and bring perhaps new ideas, or they bring, innovation.
Yes,
or
I'm a carpetbagger, aren't I?
You are a carpetbagger.
I don't know if I count.
I have no connection. You grew up very close.
Yeah, I don't think I really count.
She's not a carpetbagger.
I had never been to Grayson County before I came here.
I'd
never even driven through Grayson County.
Your family went to the doctor in Caneyville, honey, so
That's
you can't
true.
be a
Yeah.
carpetbagger.
That's true.
You can't be. The line might have been blurred between Grayson and Edmonson counties, but you're not a carpet. But Sam's a carpetbagger.
Yes.
Toll House will release their first ever stuffed cookie dough in 2 flavors. Nestle Toll House cookie dough will get a whole lot ooier or gooier, or perhaps both. The iconic cookie brand is releasing its first ever stuffed cookie dough in 2 tasty flavors: chocolate chip cookie dough with fudge filling and double chocolate cookie dough with salted caramel filling.
See, I want the top one, but I want the caramel as opposed to the chocolate center.
Here's my issue with this is that you get 4 cookies in the package.
Is that it?
It says there 4 jumbo. I mean,
4 jumbo cookies.
What?
Well, but
But they're 3 times bigger. Oh, yeah, it does say 4 jumbo cookies.
Yeah, but I mean, that
Well-
seems like a lot of work for 4 cookies.
I wouldn't. Yeah, I don't disagree with that.
But
Yeah.
is it safe to say, though, the normal size of their cookies are too small to stuff?
Probably.
Well, yeah, but give me 8 cookies and then maybe we'll talk.
Or give me
Right.
stuffing between 2 cookies. Give me a cookie sandwich. I mean, that would seem.
I mean, I think I know somebody in the building that will be all over these.
So you like the salted caramel more than the?
I would prefer that as the filling, but in the chocolate chip.
I see.
The other is way too much chocolate for me.
Yeah, I can see. It's a little gooey. It's a little even too gooey for me, if there's such a thing. But okay, here's a home hack. I know you like these, but it struck me as odd because I thought, well, who does this? A new home hack says you've been cleaning your toilet brush all wrong. And I thought that, for me, the toilet brush just goes back in the nasty container and the nasty stays over there. I don't think anything about, of course, I don't use that brush very often. So I don't know how other people that know what they're doing do it. I'm just saying for self. I'm like, you clean the toilet brush? Like, it's been in the toilet. But seems to make sense. One woman who goes by the name of Aesthetically in Home on TikTok has shared one particular cleaning hack which she thinks is the best. She shows a super cheap technique on how to clean your toilet brush so it stays fresher for longer. By the way, that's a tough segue from Toll House cookies to
Yes.
toilet brush. All you need is toilet bleach, apparently. In the video, she starts off with taking the toilet brush out of the holder, resting it over the top of the toilet bowl and under the lid. She says, always leave the toilet brush to air dry. Yeah, I've seen that move. Yeah, I know they're supposed to do that. Then she gets bleach and pours it into the device, which holds the brush. She says, adding some toilet cleaner in the toilet brush holder creates extra freshness. The cleaning fan put the toilet brush back in the holder, and other cleaning fans headed straight to the comment section to say, never thought about putting in some cleaner in the bottom of the brush holder.
See, I don't even use a toilet brush. I have the toilet wand
There
thing.
you go.
That's like a disposable. So it's like it's almost like a little sponge that you put on the bottom and you dip
like
into
a-
the water for 3
course.
seconds and then you
It's like a Swiffer for a toilet. So
Yeah,
but-
that's a good way to put it.
Captain Harry Potter over there would use a wand.
Well, it was more
Do
that
you say
telling
Angardia
you, that's-
Levioso?
when my roommate in college, his job was to get the bathroom supplies, and that was what he got to clean the toilet. And when he moved out before I did, and he didn't take it, so I said, "Well, okay, I guess I'm taking this." And
Yeah,
I mean,
those are really
it works.
handy.
Yeah, it works because it has like a little thing that you just stick the little wand in there, and it connects it, and then you're done. And
Replacing your the razor blade. You know what I mean? You just pop it in there,
yeah, a
pull it
Swiffer.
out.
It's a Swiffer for your
Yeah,
toilet is a good way
really.
to describe it.
A
Clorox.
toilet Swiffer.
Yeah.
Okay, that now I'm onto it. I still like the idea though of you doing,
Wingardium Leviosa.
potions or spells
It's
or
probably
whatever.
potions,
with your,
yeah.
with
I mean, I
your-
get into it. Yeah,
That's some potion.
got to get down on your hands and knees and all that.
A man stopped by a Carroll County, Indiana Sheriff's Office deputy allegedly didn't just provide a false name. He provided the name of his brother, who, unbeknownst to him, is wanted in Indiana. The Carroll County, this was in Virginia, sorry. It happened in Virginia. His brother's in Indiana. And so the Carroll County Sheriff's Office said a suspicious vehicle was reported on Saturday in the community in the area of the county, began following the reporting caller along Route 52. They located the man. They stopped him. He gave him a name. He said, "My name is," I don't even know what his brother's name was, Mitchell Cole. Mitchell Cole. So they ran Mitchell Cole. Come to find out, Mitchell Cole was wanted for immediate extradition in Indiana. And well, if you're going to give a fake name, I mean, give it to somebody who's a law-abiding. Use the name of a law-abiding citizen if you want to. Don't give them your ne'er-do-well brother's name, or you just end up in the pokey just the same. And in Indiana, of all places. We got to get to a break. We'll come back. Got more on the way. You're on In the Know.
Why? Just think about it. Why is the #1 selling brand of chainsaws not sold at Lowe's or the Home Depot? We can give you over 10,000 reasons. That's how many authorized local steel dealers you can find across the country. Visit one and you'll find a range of dependable gas and battery-powered tools, from trimmers to blowers. And you'll find service from experienced professionals. Real Steel. Find yours at steelusa.com. Lowe's and Home Depot are trademarks of their respective companies.
Just 3 words tell you everything you need to know. They tell you why we employ more than 2,000 workers at our factory in Virginia Beach, and why over 10,000 local steel dealers are putting battery power in the hands of Americans. Just 3 words. Made in America. Real Steel. Find yours at steelusa.com. The majority of steel products sold in America are made in America of U.S. and foreign materials. Batteries and chargers are sourced internationally.
Nobody does spring like us, and nobody beats our prices on farm and home favorites. Like barbecue grilling pellets for just $6.99 a bag. Or grow your own with assorted garden plants, only $4.78 a piece. And speaking of spring, how about a full-size 14-foot trampoline with netting enclosure, just $209.99. Shop now at ruralking.com or your neighborhood Rural King, America's farm and home store.
I'm an emergency medical technician. Today I arrived at the scene of a crash. I've seen enough of these to know it's a bad one. Young female driver, unconscious. I see her phone on the floor. The screen says OMW. On my way. She never hit send. Be safe, Kentucky. Buckle up and put the phone down.
Paid with funds through the Kentucky Office of Highway Safety.
The following message is for the purpose of protecting property and saving lives. These 3 words may be the most important you hear today. Know what's below. Underground utilities are prevalent throughout your community. To know what's below, visit Kentucky811.org 2 to 3 days before starting any digging project. The underground utility lines will be identified and marked. This is a free service. Know what's below. Visit Kentucky811.org.
Most people think water pollution is an industrial problem, but it's also a household problem. When you allow hazardous chemicals, paint, or even pet waste to wash down the storm drain, it goes directly into our water. That makes a huge mess today, and an even bigger mess for our kids to clean up tomorrow. It's time we all did our part to protect Kentucky's water. To find out how you can help, visit stormwater.ky.gov. Brought to you by the Kentucky Transportation Cabinet.
K105 weather is brought to you by Future Designs Building Materials on Quarry Road in Litchfield.
Twin Lakes weather. Make sure you are weather aware today. A wind advisory is in effect because we have the potential to see wind gusts over 40 miles per hour. That will be outside of today's showers and thunderstorms. This evening's thunderstorms could be strong to severe with damaging winds and isolated tornadoes. From the Wave News Storm Tracking Team, I'm meteorologist Alana Andrew.
Did you know Bic pen caps have a hole in the top?
I know this, yes.
To allow airflow
so you don't choke.
Should they be accidentally swallowed.
I did
Listen,
know that,
people,
yes.
get the pins out of your mouth, please.
It's not
for
where they
the
belong.
love of all that is good.
It's not where they belong, is it?
Ugh.
There's nothing much nastier than seeing a chewed on pen cap.
It drives me crazy.
Yeah. I mean, I understand I've probably got some annoying habits, but I don't have that one. And they just get I don't know, they get demolished, and the clip for your pocket, it turns into this weird, I don't know.
I don't even know if they have a clip on them.
I've never been somebody that's chewed on pens.
Yeah.
Because I remember it would drive me crazy when I'd be in school and you'd lend somebody either your pen or your pencil, and it'd come back and it'd be chewed, and it's like, well, I guess it's yours now.
Yeah, I don't need it back.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. By the way, that's how my mother is with chapstick. If you ask to borrow her chapstick, don't worry, it's yours from that point forward. Yeah, here
I'm a little bit weird. There's only like 2 people, and I'm iffy on that sometimes.
I'm
like,
one of them, luckily.
Yes.
Twitter goes nuts after discovering, before Twitter, we didn't know all these good things. Twitter goes nuts after discovering that Al Pacino has a Shrek phone case.
It's a great movie.
So
interesting.
There's Al Pacino. He's at dinner. He's got his phone case. I don't know if that's earbuds or what. And he has a Shrek phone case. Now, I wanted to throw some a modicum of shade.
Does he maybe have grandkids?
At Al Pacino. Surely he does.
So what if his grandkids like Shrek and it's...
I mean, maybe, but I wanted to kind of be Al Pacino and Shrek. But I mean, I wear Mickey Mouse shirts.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'll wear a pullover with Mickey Mouse right here on the. Is that really any different?
No.
I mean, so.
Well, I know, like, one year when my mom was a principal, I got her a phone case that was themed on the movie Trolls. So it was just hairy. So it was like troll hair on it from that movie. Yeah. And I gave it to her because I knew that when she's an elementary school principal, that the kids would find it hilarious.
Right.
Sure.
Now, by the way, I do not mean to indicate that Shrek is in anywhere on the level with Mickey Mouse. But you love what you love.
I love Shrek.
And if he's
donkey.
Shrek.
He has never watched a Shrek movie.
You've never seen Shrek?
No.
How?
Well, because he is a Disney loyalist.
But Shrek is a classic.
I agree.
Shrek 1 and Shrek 2. You don't need to watch the rest of them.
I was talking, by the way, I was in the tallest banker you know's office last week, and we were talking about Disney, and he asked me if I'd been to Universal, and my eyes got really big, and I thought, absolutely not. That's theme park adultery, and I wouldn't do it. Which, of course, he thought was about as preposterous as you do.
Yeah.
She's gotten over it. She knows I feel that way.
But I'm still working on him for SeaWorld. Because it's not the same.
That was the piece. That was the compromise.
Yes, so I'm still...
I mean, Universal, that's Harry Potter World, The Simpsons.
Nah.
He's just that
You
way.
don't want to have
I don't like
you don't want to have a butterbeer?
I don't like Universal content. No, and it's not that I'm sure Shrek's fine. I like Mike Myers, like Eddie Murphy.
Donkey's the best.
Donkey.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I know everything I need to know about Shrek without
Cameron
having
Diaz?
to see the movie.
Good.
She's Fiona, yes?
Correct.
Mm-hmm. I've seen him multiple times.
A player in the...
I'm blown away.
Sam, would you go to a Savannah Bananas baseball game?
Yeah, sure.
So would I. If we go to... And by the way, this is probably one of the few baseball games that I can get her to. You would love going to see the Savannah Bananas play. So it's a minor league baseball team. It's a professional baseball team, not really affiliated like AAA or AA. And so to give you for instance, this player is going to bat, and his bat is on fire, and he conducts an entire at-bat with a flaming bat.
And that's their thing, is that they're trying to make just the craziest things that they can, and they want to get the crowd involved. Like there was one instance where if in like a certain inning, if you hit a foul ball into the stands and the fan catches it, you're out.
I love that idea.
I think you play the ball off the net.
Do they still last the same length of time?
No, they run them them fast.
Well, that improves.
They keep it moving. They keep it entertaining. They've got one guy that will come to the plate and he will bat on stilts. Like he's 30 feet tall and he's trying to hit the ball.
That would be funny.
So it's just it's like Three Stooges meets the circus meets baseball.
Yeah, it's kind of like something I'm sure Alea would really enjoy it.
Yes,
because it's silly.
Yes.
And you don't really have to understand the game of baseball because they're really not playing. I mean, they're playing baseball, but they're really not. Doesn't matter who wins. It's just they're trying to make you entertained.
The game created by Doubleday is the foundation of what they're doing, but they're taking lots of liberties with
which is good
with the rules, and that's fine. Yeah, it's just a different it's a different thing. But I would, if we get to Savannah, we definitely want to see the Savannah Bananas play, just because the name is cool.
Okay, so that's the team name?
Yeah.
Okay, so who do they play against?
I think there are two Savannah Banana teams, and I think they just play. I think they just continuously play one another.
Because that would be interesting if they do all the craziness and they're playing like regular.
Well, it might be like the Washington Generals and the Harlem Globetrotters. The Generals were always in on the gags.
I think it's something like that.
The Chiquitas versus name some other famous banana term, and it might be in there. By the way, Sam, is there something going on in baseball the last week where there's been, for more than once, there's been position players who are pitching?
It happens quite often, especially in blowout games. I mean, I don't want to say quite often, but I mean, last year in the Reds, they played 162 games, and I'm sure they probably had half a dozen position players that pitched.
Really? Why? What's the advantage? They're saving.
Why would you blow your bullpen in a game you're losing 18-2?
I get it, but it just makes the game even longer and longer and longer.
Oh, see, I think it's incredibly enjoyable.
Well, it is different. It's a step toward the Savannah Bananas and something different.
There was an instance last year with the Reds. In fact, now this is coming in. I don't remember who pitched for the Reds, but it was against the Cubs, and whoever was hitting for the Cubs, he's right-handed, but he decided that he was going to hit left-handed.
Okay.
So he went up there and he hit left-handed. It's kind of like giving a Savannah Bananas feel to a major league game.
But they look terrible. Position players pitching.
Their
wind-up looks awful. They can't pitch from the stretch. And so did that happen in the Nationals-Braves game yesterday?
Yes.
Okay, so a position player who I believe is left-handed. I think I'm trying to see his...
Don't remember.
He throws a fastball, at 55 miles an hour and hits one of the Braves players. But the funniest part of the whole thing, because I've seen it on Twitter in 8-second clips over and over and over, the player for the Braves, when he gets hit, he overacts it like, oh, you wounded me with your 55-mile-an-hour fastball, and he falls down in the dirt and pretends to be hurt. And it's the funniest thing I've seen in baseball in a year.
Yeah, it's well done. It's something you think you would see at the Savannah Bananas. But, I mean, baseball needs to do things like that, especially now, because they kind of ruin, with the lockout and everything, but I love it. It makes things entertaining, and that's the point of baseball.
It was just funny because the radar gun was on. It was showing the radar on the screen for the pitch, and it was 55 miles an hour, which, a normal fastball in a major leaguer is 90 or above, and so to see it.
Thank you. Needed a reference there.
Half that speed, and just to see the guy like, oh, I'm wounded, and take your base and all that. And then other entertainment news today saw that Gilbert Gottfried, the iconic comedian, he is iconic in the sense that he's kind of one of a kind and an actor, has died after a lengthy illness. He's gone on in at age 67. He was Iago in Aladdin.
So now he's reunited with Robin Williams.
With Robin Williams, yeah. I thought of that immediately yesterday when I heard about his passing. I was never a fan of his comedy, but understand that if you liked his brand and his style, you loved him. He was great in that character in Aladdin because that was his shtick. But when he hosted USA Up All Night, I just, for whatever reason, that USA Up All Night, I was like, I just can't, but don't want to throw shade at him.
He's still, he's one of the legends of comedy, you can say.
You know, just for being extremely unique. So. But, all right, so Gilbert Gottfried, rest in peace, going on in at age 67. Got to get to a break. We'll come back, finish it up for the morning here on In the Know.
If you want the world to be a better place, then find small ways to make a big difference in people's lives. Crystal Duhaney and her husband Patrick did just that when they secretly began hiding money in baby supplies at their local grocery store. The idea came to them after the birth of their third child. They remembered how difficult it had been to afford baby supplies after their first child was born. Now that they were in a better place financially, they wanted to come alongside other struggling families. They weren't wealthy, but they believed they could do something. And so they began slipping $100 bills under the lids of formula canisters and inside diaper boxes at their local grocery store. Crystal and Patrick knew they weren't saving the world, but they hoped their efforts would tilt the world in a better direction for parents who discovered the hidden treasure. What a great example of how simple it can be to shine a light of hope into the world. Whether it's time or talent, an encouraging word, or a helping hand, you have something you can use to serve others and make a difference in their lives. And if you happen to have a few extra dollars in your pocket, well, you can use that to bless someone's life too. The possibilities are endless, and so is the good you can do. If you want the world to be a better place, find small ways to make a big difference. For more to help you thrive, go to focusonthefamily.com. I'm Jim Daly.
The following is not an actor, but a real-life story from Trinity Debt Management.
The credit card debt happened when my daughter was born. I was using one credit card account to roll over into another credit card account, and it was snowballing.
If you're in debt and you need help, call Trinity at 1-800-990-6976.
When I first called Trinity, the representative understood the need based on the situation. They were great people to work with. From the first phone call that I made, they had me on a track to mitigate the credit card debt.
Trinity will consolidate your accounts into one easy-to-manage monthly payment, reduce your interest, and possibly improve your credit score. You'll save thousands.
Working with Trinity gave me the ability to save thousands of dollars. My name's Doug, and thanks to Trinity, I'm debt-free for keeps.
Call Trinity at 1-800-990-6976. That's 1-800-990-6976.
Point to ponder for today. If you could invent a holiday, what would it be?
Super Bowl Monday.
Super Bowl Monday.
The day after the Super Bowl.
Sam holding that one, obviously feeling very strongly about it. So
yeah, I needed about 48 hours.
You need a recovery. You need it in this case, but most years. Would you want?
Well, I'm going to need to prepare for the next. Joe Burrow's 25, so he'll have probably 15 more seasons. So I'll need about 15 more.
All right. So, but before I move on to her, I'm going to ask you: if you had to give up a holiday in order to gain Super Bowl Monday, which one would you give up that you get to observe? You can't say Columbus Day.
No. See, you're putting me in a weird spot here because I don't want to. It's not like I'm going to say, I'm going to give up Veterans Day or Memorial Day or something.
Well,
because
you don't get to take off on Veterans Day, so it doesn't. Which one that you observe would you give up in order to? So
I guess I have worked before multiple times on Christmas Eve. Does that count?
Well,
just because my family doesn't do anything on Christmas Eve. We always celebrate on Christmas Day, so I guess I can say Christmas Eve.
Okay, so you wouldn't know the difference.
Or New Year's.
But you lucked into a situation where we treat Christmas Eve like Christmas Day, and most years we treat day after Christmas kind of like it, depending upon how it falls. But, you're big. You got your New Year's Day. You got your Memorial Day. You got your 4th of July.
You work
on Labor Day. You have the last couple of years on actual Labor Day.
True. And see, that's the thing. I mean, but New Year's Day is a great sports day. Christmas Eve, there aren't a lot of sports on.
And there shouldn't be.
I have no idea what I would make up.
You don't know what holiday?
No, because I don't know that there would be one I would be willing to give up either.
Okay.
Well,
yeah, I'm not willing to give one up, but
we work on President's Day.
we did this year. Yeah, and I mean,
yeah, I don't know because my birthday can be a holiday.
Yeah. So
and if we could give up,
I will say I don't want another December holiday, but I will tell you if we could move it on the calendar, I really think Festivus has a real future. If we would all just agree. Now, that wouldn't be me inventing it, but it would be me fostering along and saying, let's get committed to Festivus. Because what holiday shouldn't feature airing of what holiday doesn't already feature airing of grievances? Let's just be open and honest about it. And then feats of strength. Come on.
I might make a change, and can I make it like a 2-part, 2-day long weekend of the first weekend of the NCAA tournament?
Sure, yeah, that's a good one. I basically consider that a holiday anyway. That Thursday and the first Thursday.
Because I know
and Friday
sometimes
of
it
the
falls
NCAA
like this year it
tournament.
fell on St. Patrick's Day, so that could work, kind of thing. But
well, it was also really nice. So the year we got married, so 10 years ago, it was on St. Patrick's Day, and we were in Louisville, and you were shoe shopping. And I was watching the NCAA tournament while you were shoe shopping. It happened to be St. Patrick's Day, and I thought, well, this is great. That was because I wasn't doing the shoe shopping; I was doing the ball game watching. But it was there's just so much optimism early on the morning of the first day of the NCAA tournament.
And see,
everybody's going to win the title.
This year, we needed that Friday to recover and take out our anger somehow.
I didn't see it coming too, by the way. I was going right along. That Thursday was good. Ordered in lunch, was watching the games.
You were looking ahead at potentially booking a hotel room in New Orleans, weren't you?
I wasn't the only one. On CBS tonight, Survivor. So I had this conversation with my parents on Saturday, and we went ahead and figured out that the game changer, honey, you remember last year when they sent that girl to the island and she got to smash the glass and it turned the game upside down?
Yes.
Well, they're keeping that rule, and they will do that tonight because they're doing the rearranging of the tribes, and they're going to send somebody to Exile Island, and we'll get to see if the game turns upside down again or not.
Okay.
The Masked Singer on Fox tonight, and on CMT Storytellers got Kix Brooks and Ronnie Dunn. Going to do a little boot scootin' boogie tonight. Neon Moon. Don't forget Neon Moon. That's Sam's favorite Brooks and Dunn song is Neon Moon.
I've actually seen Brooks and Dunn they opened for George Strait. Can you believe that?
It's been a while.
Yeah.
Is that like an oxymoron? Favorite Brooks and Dunn song?
Well, name one that you like better. See, you can't do it. Today's highlight.
That's very, very, very low standards.
I didn't say the bar was high. I just said you couldn't name one you liked more.
Almost 20 years ago.
In 1970, Apollo 13, 4/5 of the way to the moon, was crippled when a tank containing liquid oxygen burst. You've seen the movie, so you know they got back safely. Tiger Woods became the youngest person to win the Masters this date in 1997. 25 years ago today. Birthdays today. Movie TV composer Bill Conti is 80. Tony Dow is 77. Wally Cleaver is 77 today. Al Green is 76. Peebo Bryson is 71. Gary Kasparov, the chess grandmaster, is 59 today. Caroline Ray is 58. Ricky Schroeder is 52. Silver spoons to you. 52. Wow. Lou Bega is 47. Celebrate with a little mambo number 5. And Allison Williams is 34 today. Gone but not forgotten. Thomas Jefferson, our third president, born this date in 1743. F.W. Woolworth, born in 1852. Lyle Waggoner, you might remember him from the Carol Burnett Show, was born this date in 1953. Chart toppers. Let's go to just about out of time. K-Star, number 1 in 1952, with this jewel called Wheel of Fortune.
The Wheel of Fortune.
I feel like Pat Sajak should walk out to that song.
You get the idea. Not Vanna?
Well,
That might have been Vanna.
They both walk out at the same time.
Vanna should sing it. The Marcells, Blue Moon, number 1 in 61.
I prefer the Blue Moon of Kentucky, right?
Do you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Who you like doing that the best?
Elvis, right?
No, we gotta go. Don't think I gotta go. Bill Monroe.
He is a Kentuckian.
That's true. He's in Ohio County. Norman Greenbaum, number 1. Spirit in the Sky, number 1 in 70.
The second most famous musician from Ohio County, right?
No.
Behind Dennis?
I thought you meant that kid from Fordsville.
He's third.
Let's go to Sultans of Swing, Dire Straits, number 1 in 79. Yes, the Sultans of Swing.
It's a good song.
It's Mark Knopfler in that group. I love Dire Straits, by the way, but they've never sounded more like Bob Dylan until that song. We consider in the Sultans of Swing. In Excess, Devil Inside, number 1 in 88. Jewel, You Were Meant for Me in 97. Natasha Bedingfield, Unwritten in 06. Uptown Funk, number 1, 7 years ago today.
Wow.
Yeah, makes sense.
Time flies when you're having fun. MB's Pearl of Wisdom for today. By the way, Chris Jesse's going to be here tomorrow. It's a Work Zone Safety Week, and so he's going to stop by for a segment tomorrow.
In person, too. I feel like we only talk to him on the phone.
I know, and then normally only when it's snowing. It'll be really weird. It's like, oh, you're bringing snow with you, aren't you? But no snow tomorrow, but Chris Jesse will be here. We'll look forward to it. MB's Pearl of Wisdom for today. Have the courage to follow your heart. It already knows what you want to become. Have the courage to follow your heart. It already knows what you want to become. MB's Pearl of Wisdom for today. Remember, God loves you, and I do too. If you don't know Jesus, let me know, and I'll introduce you. Look forward to seeing you back here tomorrow for another edition of our show. For Sam Gormley, for Beej, I'm MB, and now you're in the know.
Powering through the Twin Lakes with the best mix of music, news, weather, and fun. If it's in the Twin Lakes, it's on.